often switch it. Those are more important to us.
Yeah. Oftentimes we spend a lot of our days in 3 and 4, and then all of a sudden we have a lot of things happening in quadrant 1, right? Important and urgent. Where do we want to spend most of our time? Quadrant 2. Man, Luke does not look that smart, but dang. Quadrant 2. Why? Why do we want to spend most of our time in quadrant 2?
Because you want to take care of things that need to be taken care of, but you don't want to wait till the last minute.
Right, right. You want to work on the important stuff, but you don't want it to get into quadrant 1. Now, in life and work, 3 and 4 fill up your day, right? Just with stuff. Someday you guys will have the privilege of going to meetings. So many meetings are quadrant 3 and 4. They could be 15 minutes, but people fill up the whole hour, right? And what's happening? You're sitting in a quadrant 3 meeting, right? Wah, 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 wah. And you have things moving into quadrant 1, right? And then you go back and you do the fire drill. So now you're not working quadrant 2. So then you have more stuff turning into quadrant 1, right? And then you come home and you kick the dog. So as Luke indicated, we want to work. We want to focus on 2, and 3 and 4 can't impact that. So what this does is Covey gives us a mental model. You know, when we're planning our day, we should be spending the majority of our time in 1 and 2. So let's watch a video. You know, one of the things he talks about, one of the lasting impacts. So Stephen Covey passed in 2012, but he has so many impacts in our culture. One of the impacts is this rock demonstration. Big rocks and little rocks. So let me show you this. And I still haven't figured out how to toggle between the videos and the PowerPoint. So if you guys ever figure that out, I'd love to know. Okay. So this is an oldie. I wonder when it was made, probably in the 90s.
Your name is?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. You have a work life?
I do.
Family life as well?
Mm-hmm.
Children?
Not yet.
Not yet. What's the nature of your work assignment?
I direct an international firm.
An international firm?
Mm-hmm.
So you really are interfacing with all kinds of people in the firm and outside the firm.
That's right.
You want a rich personal life and a rich family life. Do you ever feel like you get bogged down in the thick of thin things?
Yes.
Well, that might be analogous to all these little, small things that tend to fill our life. And
Quadrant
little
3
by
and
little,
4, right?
just accumulate. Now, your job, you can't go above this, is to get all those large rocks in the jar. Good luck. What's that one called?
Q2. Planning, preparation.
Right. Planning, preparation, prevention, and empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next rock you put in there is called relationships and family. You can look at that third rock you put in there. That's employment, some key employment issue, and then you put major projects here. I can't get it above there.
I haven't worked it yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's fair. That's called service, community, church. Do you ever feel like this?
Yes.
How many feel like this? By moving the little things around, you might squeeze in one more of those big major things. It's almost. Wow. You know, people can't force it. Here's something that's called urgent and important. It's a quadrant 1 thing that is blindsiding you, that it's your biggest client, that if you don't get back to that client now, you've given up your vacation. And you have no special block of time just for yourself. I'll tell you what you can do if you want to. You can take a whole different approach. You have a totally fresh goal. You can work out of a different paradigm altogether.
Well, then I'd rather put these in the bottom. And then put a little pebble on top.
Employment,
Big opportunity.
big opportunity.
Important and urgent. Block of time. Those young children keep looking at me. Glad my husband's not here. Now I've dumped these in there.
Okay?
Isn't that a great visual? That was Stephen Covey. So the idea is put first things first, right? So what did we learn from that, that visual demonstration? Abby? What did we learn?
The big things have to go in first so that we can fill in all the little slots of time with the little things.
Right. So what are some big things? What are examples of the big rocks in our lives?
God, time.
Yeah? Yeah, doing our devotions, right? Reading our Bible, praying. What else?
Schoolwork.
Schoolwork, yeah.
Family.
Family, yeah. What else?
Work.
Work, yeah. So the idea is put that stuff first. And, you know, what Grace and Peter were talking about earlier, you know, Peter had the case of his, not to, do you call it exercise? Your training program, your physical training program got moved up. So he knocked out school first, right? There's just a law of the universe that if you start Harry Potter, it's almost impossible to finish your homework, right? But if you do your homework first, do the big rock first, then you can bang out Harry Potter, right? It all fits, right? You put the big rocks in the container first, and then the little rocks. Isn't that a neat visual? So the first three we covered were be proactive, begin with the end in mind, and put first things first. Those are the private victories. So now, let's go into the 3 public victories. The first one is think win-win. So we don't normally think of things this way, but in any instance where, I'll give you an example that we can all relate to. Where do you all want to go out to eat? Right? You're in the family car with your siblings. Where do you want to go eat? And what happens?
Civil War.
Civil War. Everyone agrees, right? Never. Ever. Civil War. And that's only because we have evil siblings, right? Evil siblings. So, where do we want to go to eat? These are the 4 outcomes, right? So, this is such a neat graphic. So, the bottom is consideration, on the left side is courage. So, we could be 100% considerate and not stand up for ourselves and lose every time, right? Whatever you want to do, you know. Say, for example, if I want to go one place, Mike wants to go somewhere else. Lose would be an example of neither one of us get in our way. We go somewhere else.
In all reality, we would probably pick the same place and mom would pick.
Right. Lose win is, I would lose every time, just whatever Mike wants. But that's not a good long-term plan, right? Because after a while, you just get aggravated. What if we have courage and we're going to get our way no matter what, and with no consideration? Then I'm going to win all the time, and the other person's going to lose all the time. How's that going to work for me in the long run, right? Eventually, I'm just going to get punched in the face.
No friends.
No friends. So what we want to do is look for the win-win. Win-win is, that's having an abundance perspective. That there's enough abundance that we can find a way to make this work. Some people view the world as binary, right? One or the other. 0 or 1. Just two options. Someone with an abundance mentality, they look for even more options. So the idea is, how can we talk to the other person and see if we can find a win-win? Maybe in the restaurant thing is, I want to go to Freddy's, but Mike wants to go to McDonald's. So maybe the win-win is we can swing through McDonald's, he can grab his food to go, and then we can go to Freddy's across the street, right? So let's watch a video. This video will demonstrate a way to find a win-win.
Amelia were fighting and squabbling and willing to do anything to get that orange. They were headed for a lose-lose situation. Destroyed orange. Or at best, win-lose. If one child overpowered the other for the blue orange. Until a clever student came along and told them,
Bella cuts and Amelia chooses.
Both students were given 50% of the orange and shared it equally. They had 50% of what they wanted. There's an even better solution to this problem. Instead of thinking about getting 100% of an orange, where if one student got more, the other would get less, let's look at that in terms of satisfaction rather than pieces of fruit. Did Isabella and Amelia get 100% satisfied?
First, we should ask why they want this orange in the first place.
Oranges, and I can never get enough. Those peels go directly in the bin, not my belly. I want to make a cake, but I need the peels of exactly one orange. Thanks, Amelia.
Here we find the best solution. Both students get 100% of what they want.
For you to win, another person does not have to lose. Win-win, take win-win, take win-win.
What's that? So how did they find the win-win with the orange?
One of them got the peel and the other one got the actual orange.
Right. They took a moment to find out, what do you really want in this, right? The one wanted to eat the orange, the other wanted the peel. So often that can happen, right? By just communicating and looking for a way, instead of I win, you lose, or I lose, you win, how can we find a way to both of us get what we want? So, question. Your parents want to go visit your grandparents out of state, and you want to go on a camping trip. How can you find a win-win?
Instead of staying in a hotel, you sleep outside.
Right. Right, maybe take camping gear and stop and camp on the way, right? As you drive out to your grandparents' house and accomplish both. Maybe you didn't get to spend a week camping, and maybe mom and dad didn't get to spend a week at grandparents' house, but it was a win-win, okay? So habit 4, think win-win. Oh man, here's a hard one. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. We so often, don't we, our brains are running, right? We want to make a point. We just want the person to stop so we can make our point. The 5th habit is seek first to understand. And how do we do that? First, we listen intently, make sure we understand, say back to the other person what they're saying to confirm to them that we heard them and we understand where they're coming from, and then we speak. Could you imagine the world we would live in if we all sought to understand what the other person was saying?